All right, I hope we're coming in loud and clear. I got on a line with me today. I got Thelonious C. Jones. Thelonious C. Jones in Alabama. How you doing today, man?
I can't complain. And yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Cannot complain. The last time we spoke, though, Theo, we kind of it was about owning land in Alabama, but it was about solar. It was we were all over the place. So I just wanted to reel
Mhm.
it back in and kind of really focus on how you got where you got, what your mindset is, what kind of challenges you're facing. But first of all, we want to let the people, if it's the first time meeting you, Theo, uh, tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about yourself.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Oakland, California. I went to recording art school in Orlando, Florida for 2 years. Then I moved to Atlanta and I've stayed there for about, 17 years. In my early 20s, I became a truck driver. Got out of that at like 23 and got into real estate investing, single family house investing. And through that, like I said, byproduct of that, got into contracting, and that's what I'm still doing to this day, contracting. I got out of real estate. I just wasn't really my thing. The single family houses, not what I. It wasn't terrible, but not really what I. Just a lot to manage, so I got out of that, and yeah, I've just been doing contracting ever since. And right now, I've been living in Macon County, Alabama, for a year and a half. Moved out of Atlanta, 2024.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we're gonna pick up at right here on this conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, like, what made you pick Alabama as the place to build your next chapter? Like, was it cost? Was it the opportunity? Like, what was it?
The biggest thing for me was the uh, restrictions, the freedom of restrictions. I had looked in. Well, first of all, I had my container house built. Wasn't the best idea to have your container house built before you had the land, but that's what I did. I don't truly recommend you do that, but I did that. So I had my container house built in Florida, South Florida, Dade County. When I was down there checking on it, I went and visited a friend that I grew up with, and he was basically telling me, "Yeah, I need to, I bought this land through this program. You should check it out." So we went and checked out his property, and I bought the land. Damn near sight unseen, because I'm like, I just need a place to put this house.
Yeah.
So bought the land, then found out after I bought the land, Florida has a lot of restrictions. You have to build a 750 square foot home. Mind you, these are the same people telling you the world is gonna end because of global warming and all of this stuff. But yeah, you gotta also build this big ass house though. You gotta build a house 2 or 3 times the size you need, basically, so we can just tax you on it, regardless if you're using it or not. So it's a big money grab. So I realized buying the property there, okay, I don't like this. So, and I obviously I couldn't. I'm paying for this container. I couldn't even move it there. So then I started looking in Georgia, because obviously I was still living in Atlanta. Started looking in Georgia, and everything in, like, around Atlanta, and like, I would say hour and a half away. Okay, for lack of a better word, you either have to be extremely up north in Georgia or extremely down
Mm.
south in Georgia to not have restrictions. There's very few properties in, like, central Georgia that have no restrictions. And in Georgia, I actually talked to a guy in Twiggs County. Twiggs County is adjacent to Macon, Georgia. He told me on 5 acres you had to build 500 square foot house. And then I was asking him about livestock, and he told me you could only have 5 chickens on 5 acres. When the chicken that you buy in the store is probably a couple of thousand of them on a quarter acre inside in a contained area. So that's when I realized, okay, this is completely nuts. All of these people are crazy. So my aunt's husband, um he's from Tallapoosa County and Chambers County. That's where his family's from in Alabama. So I had been coming over here
Mm.
for years, knowing about it. Um, and I just said, let me look over here. And I looked over here, and then there was no restrictions. So that was it. I found the first property with no restrictions, gave him a full price offer. I was done. I was tired. Like, I was like, yeah, man, you want 25,000? Here's the fucking money. Let's close it, dog.
Let's
I don't
go.
want to. I don't want to keep. Yeah, looking for properties, and then also for the reason I didn't want to move extreme north in Georgia. First of all, I don't want to be up there in the mountains where it would be snowing more. It's more cold. And then I didn't want to live that far from Alabama because I still wanted to be able to. I know I probably still have to work there. So to move way down to South Georgia, like 3.5 hours, to me, that's a full day job versus the
Yeah,
two
yeah,
hours I am now.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good. I mean, you have a channel here on Facebook, Alabama Acres, and in
Yeah.
one of the first videos you put on there, you kind of told a story about going through bankruptcy that kind of reshaped the way you think about ownership and risk. And it's like, a lot of people would think of, even in the comments, I jumped in the comments too, because a lot of people think like bankruptcy is that failing point, but I think it's how you reshape yourself after you take that
Mm-hmm.
step. So how did you
Yeah.
kind of utilize that? Did it reshape the way you look at ownership and risk? Because I know you said like now you don't owe. Another video you got on the channel where you like, I don't know owe nobody nothing, right? So give
That's
us a
it.
little bit of how that reshaped the way that you think, what kind of drove you to it, and the starting point.
Yeah, I think for me it just boiled down to how do you put yourself in a position to where you have something that, unless I don't want to say you're a complete failure, but you would have to be in an extreme detriment. For me to lose this property now that I have no bills on, well, I have a water bill. So if I'm not able to pay the $35 a month, and maybe my taxes hasn't got reassessed yet, so my taxes may be $300 a year. If I'm not able to afford that, then I have some real extreme problems going. So I'm just saying, the mortgage can't come take this. There's nobody that can. I don't have any power bills, so it's like I want to set myself up to where I didn't have to worry about this ever, you know, me ever losing this asset. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or even owing people. I don't want to owe anybody, and I don't want to, be having that feeling like you got a bounty over your head almost. That's kind of what it is. Hey man, you don't pay this, we gonna put the lien, we gonna do that, we gonna do this. So that was my main thing. Have something that's free and clear, and pretty much almost close to bill free.
I love that. I love that. So,
Hmm.
um, how are you handling the infrastructure side? Because again, watching your videos, plug in Alabama Acres here, but
Hmm.
you got a lot of things going on, man. How do you handle things like solar power, water system, fencing, even security? Like people think when they hear buy land, it's like they have a beautiful site. You know what I mean? Like things
Yeah,
are easy.
yeah,
I'm off grid because everybody shows you the fantastic, fancy, made up side of the shit. But you kind of
yeah.
coming in showing a different angle. How you handling the infrastructure side of your land?
Yeah, it's an ongoing battle. Um, I actually just picked up a whole house generator just now from the shipping place, because it just never ends. I think it's just it's just getting back to just understanding what you need, and working your way up. Because I don't think I don't want to say you're never going to be satisfied, but there's always going to be another level. But it's just saying, okay, what is the bare minimum? How do I get there? And then over time, how do I take steps up to just keep improving? Like have bought a solar trailer. The solar trailer halfway works. So then I had to, it didn't work all the way. So I spent all the money on the trailer. Then I had to spend 2 or 3 times as much money to upgrade the entire solar. Then, the one battery was enough. So 6 months later, save up a number, buy another battery. Then just like now, yeah, I got 2 batteries. I'm good. But what if you get like just these last 4 days? It was almost cloudy for 4 days. So both batteries is going down. So that's why I got the generator, just in case something goes wrong, crank up the generator. So it's always just keep leveling up infrastructure, the road. You know what I mean? I still got to deal with the road. I'm trying to get a 1,000 square foot greenhouse up for next year that I've had the greenhouse for 2 years sitting in my driveway. But it's just like, yeah, I need to build a pad for it. I got to bring dirt in. I got to have irrigation. And, so
Mm,
it's always step, 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 and just trying not to overwhelm yourself. And honestly, it's figuring out how you going to pay for all this. That's really the biggest
mm,
thing, because I don't. The thing I see with a lot of these people with the homestead thing is that they're never really, to me, clear on. Most of them aren't clear on how are they paying for everything.
mm-hmm.
So I think you really need to understand how you're gonna come up with that money, because the money, I don't want to say it goes quick. You can be frugal, but it's easy for it to go quick. So it's a fine balance. You know what I mean? But I think it's
Yeah,
just handling the infrastructure, figuring out what you need, trying to get the bare minimum, and then figuring out how you can just
feeling.
keep growing from there.
Yeah. So, it's crazy
Hmm.
because I heard you say this a couple of times, like, you know, watching other people. Cause it's like we go to YouTube, right? We get this new thing, and it's like we kind of a novice, a little neophyte in it, right? So we go to YouTube to
Hmm.
try to get that information from other people doing that thing. And it's like a lot of them don't talk about the critical pieces of what you really need, or the challenges that you see. But what is the biggest challenge you've been in your land on your homestead with minimal county, city, state thing? You said the water, right? What's been the biggest
Hmm.
challenge in maintaining the land day to day that people don't talk about? Is it the power?
The
Is it,
biggest, for me is, because everything was raw here, is understanding how the water flows through the property, and then figuring out
mm,
how to manage the water and the rain and the driveway getting muddy and all that type shit. That's the biggest thing. I mean, and that stuff is highly expensive. So that's been my biggest challenge. Is I mean, I just spent $750 on 2 loads of dirt, and it just doesn't look like it's hardly gonna cover anything. So it's
yeah,
that's the biggest thing for me, is understand how the water flows through your property, and making sure you're, managing it correctly, but not mismanaging it. So
yeah,
that's for me, I think, been the hardest, the most challenging, and then the most expensive.
yeah,
And then if you don't know how to work a machine, which I do know how to work a couple machines, but I mean, it's even more expensive. So
right.
that's something that's been the biggest burden that I still haven't
Still trying
even
to figure
really
out.
got to. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that, like, when I do some research or read about like ancient civilizations, or
Mm-hmm.
predating our history right here, the first things that they got right was like astrology and irrigation. Like, you always see that
Mm-hmm.
irrigation
Mm-hmm.
was something that they mastered on a scientific level, and they didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
equipment, they didn't have the store to run to,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't so it's like, have you kind of researched any of those old pre-civilization irrigation methods in your
I
land,
have
or?
I have a little bit, and probably not to the extent I should, but also what I noticed is, and I agree with you totally, there's not, when you search homestead videos and stuff, there's really no videos on water management
Mm.
that I really find, or maybe people are just lucky, but Alabama has a high water table. Where I'm at, the water table is pretty high, so um you just got a lot. It's a lot to deal with, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I when I was, because I had to buy a culvert, and I spent $800 for that damn pipe, and I really didn't need one that big, but I didn't want to buy one too small. And then when I
Mm.
was looking on YouTube, I was trying to figure out, like, how do you figure out the what culvert you need? And there's not a lot. I know I saw like a couple videos, like the county can tell you or something, but it's like, yeah, I don't. This is not a culvert uh off the road, like where the county would just come on the public street and look at, oh yeah, this would be, no, this is on my property, and I don't want the county on my property. I don't have
Right.
to have them. So it's just like, no, I just had to figure it out. I spent more than what I spent, but guess what? I never have to worry about that covert, being not enough. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain things like that. It was like, there's not a lot of information, but no, I understand, like, the ancient there's one in Peru, up in the
Yeah.
mountains, all built around the wall. These people really study that, and it's an art. And
Yeah.
I think it's
Yep.
a lost art too.
Yep. Yep. And it's crazy because you don't see a lot of that just in our own knowledge, just like basic knowledge. We don't get that, like
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
of those arts, the lost treasure arts of humankind, we don't get that. You have to go search for that again. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So one of the things I know that you've done is, you grew some mushrooms, you're growing medicinal herbs. Is that more for self-sufficiency, profit, or community? Like what is going on with that?
Right now, it's just kind of just experimenting to try to figure out what is gonna be, you know, the most profitable thing. It's still what is it called, a crapshoot, because it's like I'm a little spoiled making money and contracting, and the farming stuff is very slow. So I have to really try to balance it out to figure out which one I want to focus on my energy on. So as of right now, I'm gonna say it's more just I would like to do teas and herbs and stuff like that down the line, but I'm trying to just build up the base of it. And I'm, even as I'm speaking to you now, I'm looking out the window. I got a lot of lemongrass. I'm actually probably gonna go chop that shit down this to tomorrow before we get the frost. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just like, how do you know what I mean? It's just balancing and all. But right now, I'm just starting at it as a lower level thing. And just like we're saying with the infrastructure, just trying
yeah.
to, that's almost like part of the infrastructure for me, is just how do we just keep building up to where we can say, okay, now this can make us 20 grand in a year, or
Right,
whatever the case may be. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And then the
right.
mushroom things, it started off decent, but for me, it's hard to find the right buyers in my area for it. And I do find a lot of people interested in mushrooms, but not committed to buying mushrooms, which is okay. We're not here to force anybody. We definitely studying the Ten Commandments, the laws and principles of Booker T. Wadley. So we only focus on what people demand. So we just got to keep focusing on that. And I also, actually, tonight I'm whipping up some my mushroom seasonings, and I'm gonna send that out, because that's actually been a big hit. So it's different little niches. I'm just stirring the pot on, trying to figure
Right,
out what people like the most and what people demand. That's all
right,
that matters. What people demand. It's not
right.
what people are interested in. What do people demand?
What do they pull out their wallet and purchase? You know what I
That's
mean?
it. That's it.
That's,
That's it.
because otherwise we're just
Hmm.
talking. Otherwise we're just
That's
talking.
it. That's it.
So,
That's it.
but tell us about, because we speak, on a regular, but tell us about the trailer rental business. Because here's the thing: where did that idea come about, and what gap are you filling locally? Because man, I lived in Tennessee. I know when you jump on 40 and you go to more of the widespread open land, farmland, and kind of things, all you're seeing is a lot of activity between farms, between properties, a lot of movement with the
Mm-hmm.
trailers hitched up on the back, whether they got tools on there, whatever it is. So you're embarking in a trailer rental business. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I got a mini excavator, and then I bought a 10,000 pound trailer like 2 weeks ago. Financed it, but put it in my name. But I was just looking online and just trying to see, what I could do with it. So I put it online. Haven't got any bites on it yet, but my goal is just to, even if I rent the trailer once a month, it's gonna pay for the note. So it's not a very stressful type thing, but it's just something to test the marketing, because I don't really believe there's even any other trailer rental in my county. I hate to admit that. Yeah, there's some right outside, right on the county line, but there's no trailer rental in the county. So I'm just
Mhm.
trying to see. It goes back to what we just saying. What is the demand? So I'm
Mhm.
just putting it up there, testing the waters out. Regardless, I still needed to move around my excavator. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Regardless, I could still use it to move cars around, you know what I mean, whatever. So I still have it for me and my community, my neighbors. But I think it's just something just to offer in the community, see what happens, and I'm not really losing anything really. Yeah, I gotta pay a little extra for the insurance, but 40, $50 a month is not going uh for me at least, is not gonna break the bank. So I'm just trying to, like we just saying, it's just everything is just testing everything, figuring out where it lands at. You know what I mean? If it takes off, great. We're gonna keep pushing in that direction. If it doesn't, it's not too much sweat off the back. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
that's something you really got to be doing when you move into a new area and you just trying to establish yourself in your business. Because right now, I was mainly still have to go to Atlanta to work, which is not terrible, but I prefer not to drive uh 2 hours each way to go work. So if I can establish something here, cuts down on that time on the road. So it's just dibbling, dabbling in the market, in your market, figuring out what the market demands and trying to flood the market with that at a decent to premium price, but premium quality
Love
and
it. I love
service.
it. I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
So let me take the time to tell you guys to go ahead and subscribe to Alabama Acres. You could go to eamushrooms.com. You do have the seasoning and you have the mushrooms on the website. So do those
Hmm.
two things, and as well as EA Mushrooms on YouTube. And guys, we send out a daily newsletter where we track all of this. We track land values, we track what's going on in Alabama, we track everything so you can make the right move for you. I love bringing folks like Theo on because I've kind of seen, you know, our idea of what success is, right? An idea of what freedom is transform over the years, right? Because you said, you
Hmm.
did the music thing, we both were heavily involved in the sales and that space and just
Hmm.
selling
Hmm.
and real estate. So has homesteading, and because me, I feel like I never, like, if you told me in 2017 that you was about to get land and do this, I would have never thought it, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
has homesteading changed your definition of success? And if so, what is that definition now?
Um, I would say to a certain extent, I think it brings a peace of mind. Um, I think, being around people that respect property. I think when you're in some of these cities, there's no respect for property. People know here, if you come on somebody's property, then it could turn fatal real quick. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that's the right thing, but it's is a high respect for property. So you have to And I think also living in a country when you see cows and things and animals being born, people have a little more respect for life. I mean, that's not, we're not gonna give a blanket general statement, but it's just, I think it's people just, much friendlier, easygoing, and to me that's what I wanted to be in line with in my life. So not I have nothing against the city. Like I said, I was in the city earlier today, yesterday, the day before, so I'm always in the city. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is better for me, and I think better for my mindset and better for what I'm trying to accomplish in life. And like I would also say too, with the Smart Movers Club, I mean, you can avoid everything I did with the damn restrictions thing, because you can just get right on there, punch in what you're looking for, and it's gonna lay it all out for you right there. So I want to hone on how, I spent like $15,000 on that property. So I mean, just you got to figure out what is it right for you, what you're looking for, punch it in, plug it in, and figure out where that is for you. Because you can waste a lot of time and a lot of money, and I don't regret having that property in Florida. It's actually below the frost line, so I think it's actually a great property to have for tropical fruits or something. I don't think I'd ever build down there, but I'm just saying, using the tools, figuring out what you want, writing your goals down, and using the tools to figure out how you can facilitate that lifestyle for you,
Yeah.
and where is it going to be best, and where does it make the most, financial and logistical sense for you.
Yeah. That's 100, man. Because, like you said something about the city. Yeah, we still got respect for the city. But me actually living in Tennessee opened my mind a little bit. Coming back to the city and hearing the goddamn horns, right? The cab, they can't even wait 1 second. The light turned green. Oh, the horn is on. It's just, bro, I'm getting headaches. You know what I mean? It's like this is
Mm-hmm.
not what, to me, y'all just being busy just to be busy or acting like y'all do. Nothing's
Mm-hmm.
happening here but stress. So I feel what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying. We're finding the right peace of mind and locating that place. Yes, the Smart Movers Club can help you. We do have sentiment analysis and what's going on locally. And you may think that the big city life is what you want, but when you go nestle in that community and having that environment and that people that want to say hello to you and people that what I mean, it's just a different environment. And I think that's why I love Tennessee, and I'm sure that's why you love Alabama. It's just that community
Yeah.
feel, but also
Mm-hmm.
that feel where you could actually be free. So, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. What does freedom mean to you? Is it financial freedom? Is it spiritual freedom? Is it physical freedom? I think you could find all three in a place if you're really focused on finding that. So that's what's up.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
This whole
word, freedom. What is freedom
freedom.
to you? That
Yeah.
that is the main question you have to ask yourself. Because when I'm here, I feel as free as can be. Because I know on my property, I could pretty much do whatever I want to do, and it's not going to be an issue. So I think
Right.
that's what people really have to define for themselves, and
Yeah.
then punch it in, figure out how to get to it.
Yeah. So one last question before we go out, because I know you a busy man.
Mhm.
I see the videos. You on the excavator. You're putting down the trees. You got the thing going. So, um,
Yeah.
my question is like, I feel like you're already like you have this innate motivation. Like you don't need somebody to be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. You don't need a guru in your ear, telling you to wake up. You kind of have it, but how do you stay motivated when the physical and financial grind gets tough? You going out to Atlanta, you got to do this thing. You got to
Mm.
deal with the irrigation now. How you stay motivated, man?
Mm. I'm gonna be honest. I think really a lot of it has to do with just like what we were talking about not too long ago. I think it's just the genealogy. I think it's
Mm,
understanding who your people are, what they come
mm,
from, what they were accomplishing, and
mm.
understanding like a lot of the stuff that we doing is still to me pennies on a dollar. You know, my great grandfather was the first man to have an automobile in the island of St. Croix. The first man to have indoor plumbing. So,
Mm.
um, you know, so when you think about that compared to this, you know, to me, it's still very, you know, it's still a small scale. So, you
Yeah,
know, it's just figuring out how to keep striving to be like the people before you, because they were really doing a lot of big things, man. You know, I mean,
yeah,
so it's just really, you know, understanding who you are, where you come from, and what has already been laid down for you. You know, what I mean, there's a lot, there's a lot already been laid down, and I think it gets sometimes overridden because we kind of forget it, put it in the past. But you know, it's just keep following the path, man. Keep following the path. It's
yo,
already there. It's just redoing it and doing it your way.
yo, that has to be the most inspiring message. Like, cause I never really thought of it like that. Like in hindsight and in retrospect, or whatever you want to say, we ain't doing nothing compared
No.
to what our ancestors has done to lay the ground for us to do. Like, you're right.
Hmm.
You're 100% right. I'm thinking on that thought. That's a heavy thought, man. I appreciate you saying that. So the
Hmm.
three things that I'm hearing from you today, and hopefully you guys, smart movers, you could take this energy, is respecting property, respecting rights, respecting freedom, respecting life. Okay. And then
Hmm.
having respect for your ancestries. I think that grounds this conversation. So I appreciate you, Theo, for jumping
Hmm.
online and having this little sit down with me. So guys, again, Theo, he'll come around perennially, but you could go check him out at Alabama Acres on this thing here called YouTube, and leave your comments in. He does browse it from time to time. He'll probably answer a
Oh
few.
yeah.
Leave your comments in.
Oh yeah.
In case you
Hmm.
you got land or you're thinking about getting land, I'm sure he could help you out. Definitely go check out
Oh
Alabama
yeah.
Acres though, because he's on that property daily. Okay, daily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theo, thank you
Yeah.
so
For
much for
sure.
for coming through, man. I appreciate you. I always respect your time. So, I want to let us go out of this interview right now. I'm gonna wrap it up, and you could go out because I know
Hmm.
you looking over. You looking over. I see you. I see you. I see you looking at your
Yeah. You
land, man.
know.
Like, I got work to do.
Hey,
I got work to do.
this the sun has not been out all week, so it's just like finally the sun is out and it's nice outside because it's hey man, and man, I'm just sending some love to them people down there in Jamaica, man, because that shit
Yeah,
is no joke. And it's just, I know your family's down there, and it's just like, we got a little backlash to this, so it's good just to see the sun back shining.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, man, it's all love, man, and we just here sending some love down to the people, in Jamaica
Absolutely,
and all over, man, and we definitely gonna tap in.
absolutely, man. You be great. Thank you again for your time,
Hmm.
man.
Of course,
Peace.
peace.
All right, so that was Thelonious C. Jones. He came through. We have another video on this channel. You could check it out. It's titled "Owning Land in Alabama," or How Easy Is It to Own Land in Alabama. I've been knowing Theo since about 2017. I seen the ups, the downs, but I've always seen him incrementally grow, and he's been a solid dude from day one. So if you like this interview, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and head over to smartmoversclub.com. It's a community of individuals using data to make better decisions in their life and laser focused on the next 20 years. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Be good.